Listen, there are certain kinds of women who is more difficult to read than anyone else. She's not chilly, she's not uninterested, she is actually the total opposite. She genuinely wants you so much that it frightens her. And as a result of that profound fear, she's exerting all of her ability to conceal it, to drive you away, to persuade you in herself that she does not give a damn. However, this is the perverted reality. The more fervently she may act, more cruelly if she desires you, the more away she appears, the colder she makes things on purpose. I am aware of that. Sounds absolutely crazy. The majority of men hear things and assume right once that it doesn't make any sense at all. If she is truly fond of me, how could she possibly push me away? Stay here with me since I'm about to disclose will totally change the how you will always read her actions. I'll demonstrate precisely how to recognize when a woman is engaged in combat her emotions toward you. The delicate small actions that consistently reveal her identity, and that one thing she does that defies logic that 99% of males read incorrectly and ultimately turn away from a woman who genuinely yearned for them, because once, when you fully comprehend this, you cease. Why she is terrified by strong desire, hedonic reversal explained, doubting everything, you give up feeling overwhelmed, whelmed, and perplexed. Then you begin to recognize the true reality concealed under all those conflicting messages. Playing mind games is not the point here. This relates to comprehending women's psychology to the extent that the majority of males never even come close to getting there. Additionally, by at the conclusion of this, you'll find the covert psychological trigger that causes finally a lady stops battling her emotions and freely acknowledge what she's been reticent the entire time. However, first we must discuss why these powerful. She is far more afraid of feelings than you are most likely understand. And just so you know, the true cause of her intense struggle might cause you some discomfort. It's the reason. It has nothing at all to do with you specifically. Imagine this situation. She literally laughs at everything you say, yet all of a sudden becomes silent for several days. She talks candidly about profoundly private things. 1 second, then the next pretends that you are merely another unidentified man in her life. She looks at when she believes you're not looking, but avoids making any eye contact with you as soon as you catch her. You've most likely persuaded yourself that she's simply not that because you're reading far too lot into it, or that perhaps you ought to simply forget about her and go on. This is what's truly happening within her head. Indeed, it will sound insane at first. She really likes you, that you are actually being treated by her brain like a danger. Not a danger to the body, but a very sentimental one. Why? Due to a psychological fact that the majority of people have never even heard of. We refer to it as hedonic reversal, and it explains why precisely the things we most desire in life can frighten us the most as well. Consider it such like this. Have you ever desired something so terrible that you nearly didn't want to receive it in reality? Due to if you eventually figured it out and then lost it, the agony would feel completely intolerable. That's precisely what's playing out in her head at the moment. The more intense her emotions get, she starts to resist. However, this is where it becomes even more intriguing. Research in behavioral psychology have demonstrated that when women experience strong emotions swiftly, they frequently unintentionally undermine the relationship. Not because, although they don't want you, their primal survival instincts take over her, the brain is automatically protecting itself. Procedure: if I don't allow myself to, I can't be harmed since I desire him. If I maintain my the protection mode and sabotage instincts of her brain distance, I remain secure. If I behave as though I don't care, maybe these overpowering emotions will simply disappear. However, that's not how feelings operate. They don't simply vanish as a result of your attempts to ignore them. They become more powerful, they intensify, and finally, they begin seeping out in ways that she is unable to fully command. And at that point, something really strange things begin to happen. Something so odd that when I initially discovered, I also didn't think it was genuine. The indicators start to show the little fissures in her emotional shield, the brief occasions when she lets her guard down just long enough to catch a glimpse of the veracity. However, there is one specific indication. The majority of males see that as startling, it as the total antithesis of what it truly means. I'll make it clear in just a moment, but you must first comprehend the base. Therefore, if she's actively battling her emotions, what should you be searching for? The indicators she is struggling with her emotions and have faith. The third one will surprise you, in my opinion. Just take a brief look before we go forward. Something that appeals to me, click the like button on the right because of what I'm going to disclose in the third symbol is so contrary to what you might believe. I'm making stuff up, but when you see it in action, you'll never misinterpret a signals from a woman. Once more, let's continue. This is the initial indication, and it's by far the most neglected. She's incredibly inconsistent in her focus, although there's usually a certain pattern to that inconsistency. One day she will send, "I'm chuckling at you," lengthy paragraphs, your jokes, sincerely inquiring about your day. The radio was silent the following day, one-word answers, abruptly occupied with the subtle indications that she's fighting her emotions. Everything but you. It's not her simply playing games or being erratic. This is she battling an intense internal battle fight. Each time she permits herself to draw near, her anxiety rises and compels her to retreat. However, this is what you truly worth keeping an eye out for. Time the cycles with caution. Does she retreat each and every time you have a genuinely profound, meaningful dialogue? Each and every, there's a moment that seems too genuine, too closely linked, that's not coincidental by chance. That's how she feels. The panic button is activating. Additionally, this is the section that will really blow your mentality. The stronger the bond feels to her, the more forcefully and quickly she will pull away later. If you had an amazing date and she abruptly becomes chilly for 3 days in a row, that's not rejection. That's all she is. Frightened over how much she really had a great time with you, she consistently arrives. Sign number 1, extremely unpredictable attention with a pattern back, though. After a day, perhaps following a week, but she is unable to stay away forever since the emotions just won't allow her. Next, focus intently to her facial expressions when you're collectively. Here's where the unvarnished truth lives forever. She is always fidgeting, crosses, fiddles with her hair, and she uncrosses her arms. Her physique is genuinely conflicted about wanting to relocate nearer to you and frantically attempting to defend itself. She could stand unusually near you at one point, then abruptly take a step back. She could come into contact with your arm while chuckling, then right away establish physical separation once more. However, one particular gesture is in total dead giveaway. If she makes contact her collarbone or neck while conversing with, that's an unconscious indication of profound vulnerability. It's among the most parts of the body that are exposed. Additionally, when unconsciously the woman touches it, she's telling you that she feels emotionally vulnerable as well. And this is one more large one. She inquires about other women. However, observe how she accomplishes it. Carefully, nonchalantly, and under the appearance of simplicity, curiosity. So, do you have a partner at this moment? Which type are you? How was your weekend? Do you have any fun? However, here's the important clue that most males totally miss. Observe her reaction to the moment you respond. If her facial expression shifts, even for a split second when you bring up the name of another woman, I understand your response. That little micro-expressiveness is nothing more than envy. She's frantically attempting to conceal themselves. She's probing, attempting to determine whether it's secure enough to experience what she's sensation, attempting to determine whether it's genuine rivalry. When a woman engages in combat, she inquires about your romantic life. Underneath that, what she's actually saying, "I care far more than I want to," is all. Admit it. This is the third indicator, and I'm alerting you ahead of time. This particular, it sounds entirely in reverse. She receives, the more she likes you, the more cruel she is. I'm not discussing truly harmful conduct in this place. I'm referring to elevated sarcasm, mocking, or light-hearted little insults. This is the reason it occurs. It's a traditional psychological defensive system referred to as reaction formation. When an individual feels a strong sense that they don't want to feel articulate the complete opposite, she will make fun of you. Often make jokes about your expenditure. Pretend that you never rolls her eyes when you impress her. When you talk, question everything you say. Moreover, the actual kicker is right here. The more acute and sign number 2, exposing vulnerability cues and body language, the more scathing her remarks are, the more she's probably fighting hard in opposition to her actual feelings. Why? Because establishing emotional distance, sarcasm, and humor seem far away, safer than acknowledging weakness. However, keep a close eye on what occurs when you're truly open and honest with her first. When you communicate something profound and genuine, her tone abruptly changes. The for a little instant walls collapse, the sarcasm disappears, and at last, you see that she has been hiding a gentler, warmer side throughout that abrupt change. That's the genuine her breakthrough. Everything else has only served as armor. Here's one more significant indication that she's covertly infatuated, but won't acknowledge it. She recalls everything. Additionally, I mean everything at all. That haphazard tale 3 weeks ago, you disclosed she brings up her childhood dog out of nowhere. That dish you once mentioned that you find intolerable. She recalls together, you are placing an order for food, that personal objective you're pursuing. She monitors your development. However, here's what is actually going on within her brain. When we are deeply drawn to someone, dopamine fills our brains each time we consider them. That the dopamine surge helps such memories stick. Similar to glue, she's not making an effort to should keep all these aspects in mind. Her mind is encoding them automatically because you are very important to her. When a female is battling her feelings for you, she's focusing intensely on all that you say because despite the fact that she's making a great effort not to care, she just can't resist. And the following, you might assume that sign is really specific. It's not feasible. However, it occurs every once without fail. She's, I feel a little uneasy with you. Sign number 3, the more she likes you, the meaner and teasier she gets. Surprising. No one else is with her. You've observed her. Witty, self-assured, and completely comfortable with her pals. However, there's an electric tension with you. This airborne charged energy. Observe her hands tightly. Does she make contact with her? Face more when she speaks to you? Does she tweak or fidget with her clothes all the time? Does she appear hyper-conscious of the way she stands or sits? It's not uncomfortable. That is unprocessed attraction that she is frantically attempting to command. However, this is the indication that verifies everything once and for all. Should she mimics your body language, unconsciously bending closer when you speak, but then she abruptly realizes and retreats. That's her subconscious. Her conscious resistance was betrayed by her mind. Her body craves proximity to you. The mind continues to struggle with it. Now, that's what most men do incorrectly when they first observing these indicators, and it's the worst move imaginable. How to proceed when she is struggling with her emotions. This is where the majority of males totally screw things up. When they notice the indicators, they become enthusiastic or irritated, after which they produce the one crucial error that propels her permanently gone. They either push excessively difficult to find answers, or they give up completely and turn to go. Both methods are errors, but one is much more deadly compared to the other. Here's the brutal veracity. If you strive for clarity now, if you insist on knowing what this is, if you express your emotions in the hopes of you'll set her off, and she'll respond deepest defense system so strongly that she'll probably vanish entirely. That may sound harsh, but when this woman is battling her emotions hard, you can't make her give up. To them, you can't reason her into she acknowledges that she likes you. You are unable to give her too much attention and anticipate her barriers to miraculously fall apart. However, you can't simply hope and walk away. Why? She uses teasing and sarcasm as a defense mechanism. She'll understand it all at once because she refuses to. She will persuade herself that feelings weren't genuine, that she avoided a bullet. Therefore, she was wise to hold on to her. Keep your guard up. What do you really do then? You establish profound psychological security, but not in the way that most people would think. Consider this is the tactic that actually functions. And it's so easy that most men ignore it entirely. Be dependable, solid, despite her erratic behavior. Avoid match her energy, both hot and cool. Avoid pursuit after she retreats. Remain grounded, remain composed. Prove her your behavior, that you're not going to place, but you're not in a desperate situation either or in need. You're just there, firm, dependable, totally unaffected by her push and pull actions. This does something quite potent to her psychology. It demonstrates to her that her deepest anxieties are unjustified, that you're not the kind to harm her. Perhaps it is now safe to lower her defender. Here's the secret. Though substance that most men never utilize, give her real room to breathe, then reappear with actual worth. Keep your distance from her. Avoid send her a barrage of mails requesting responses. Never inquire, what are we? Or just let me ask, why are you acting like this? She takes her time processing things. The more force you exert, the more difficult she won't comply. However, this is the crucial twist. You can't leave when you offer space. Entirely quiet as well. Return with sign. Number 4, she recalls every little thing about you. Something that actually enhances her life. A humorous tale, an intriguing article, something minor that caused you to consider her in particular. This results in a strong mental pattern. When life feels better when he's around, when I genuinely miss that feeling now that he's gone, first be vulnerable. But go ahead, strategically talk about something genuine concerning oneself, a fear you're dealing with, a significant objective, something you're working through on a personal level. However, here's the secret. Don't project your fears upon her. Express a weakness that demonstrates depth and might rather than weakness. When you demonstrate to her that showing vulnerability doesn't equal being weak, she will begin to feel it's safe enough to be exposed as well. Moreover, at that point, her barriers really start to crack. Avoid having an emotional reaction to her tests, as she will, undoubtedly you. She'll retreat to check if you'll pursue frantically. She will act uninterested to check whether you'll become dependent. She will gently bring up other males to check to see whether you become envious. Pass each test by being totally unaffected, not chilly or far away, yet focused on your self-worth and self-value. When she notices that you don't require her approval to feel pleased with yourself, something significant changes within her. The whole power dynamics change, and all of a sudden, she's the one who fears losing you. And now for the most crucial component, the sign number 5, mirroring and nervous energy. One action that causes everything else to collapse into position. Live life to the fullest and wealthy, regardless of whether she participates in it or not at all. When she notices that you're not waiting for her to come to a decision, as she observes you, her emotions constructing your life, developing and flourishing on your own, a significant change occurs in her thoughts. The anxiety of losing you becomes greater than her for all time, fear of developing a strong emotional bond. Moreover, she stops at that very moment, completely suppressing her emotions. However, there's one last thing you must understand. One potent psychological trigger that ultimately causes her to give up entirely to the way she has been feeling throughout, the psychological catalyst that puts an end to the battle. I will share something that could come out as manipulative initially, but it's essentially just basic human psychology. The instant she truly understands that you might actually, the biggest errors men make, walking away or pushing too hard, move on her mind, makes an irrevocable change. We refer to it as loss aversion. We are all conditioned to fear losing something, possess far more than we would like to acquire something fresh. As long as she has faith, you'll be waiting all the time. No, no matter how long it takes, she can maintain resisting her emotions forever. She has an infinite amount of time. She is emotionally secure. She is able to keep you at a distance while she works things out. However, the moment she realizes you're really tugging away, not in the manner of a small time game. However, I'm actually investing in other aspects of my life, and going forward, everything drastically shifts. If this struck a profound chord with you level, leave a remark below using the thank you so you understand this and deeper psychological level. Additionally, make sure to click the subscribe button since I'll be revealing the precise words to use when she eventually ceases struggling and acknowledges how she truly feels. You really don't want to miss it. All